is Elliott Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois, here on the Comic Culture Warrior YouTube channel. Thanks, folks, for joining us. We've been doing some reviews, and I've gotten into this stuff I don't like. Let's talk about some things that were pretty good, and especially when it comes to women in comics. There is a title that I especially enjoy, especially with the depiction of women in comics, and that would be from the Luna Brothers and The Sword. The Sword is, you ask me, an impressive book in that, one, it's an independent. It comes out pretty regularly. Yeah. You know, the Luna Brothers do a lot of really good stuff. Every 6 weeks or so. Yeah. And this book especially, I don't think really gets enough attention.
No, and actually this review is specifically because Locus Mortis actually asked us to do more Image books. And this is my second favorite Image book after Invincible.
After Invincible. The
Luna Brothers just do solid work. And next, again, against besides Invincible, the Sword has the best cliffhangers. Every issue, the last page is a cliffhanger. And you haven't seen this yet. So this is actually where the story's at. There's 2 trades out, by the way, of the Sword so far. And this is issue 16. So it'll be pretty easy if you want to catch up on this book. Go out, buy the first 2 trades, and then buy like the last 4 issues, 5 issues that came out. You'll be all caught up. Totally worth the money, man. Totally,
and they're very well priced, moderately priced.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yes, they are. So this is her going after the second sibling of the 3 of the 3 gods who killed her family.
Right.
And she finds them down in Mexico. And I'm not going to get too much into this here, but just to show you. So the fight sequences are awesome. This comic just has an awesome flow to it. And again, it is a female protagonist. And yeah, some bad shit does happen to her. In the last issue, guy punched her bottom jaw off.
Oh,
and so the Sword gives her regenerative powers. And
she like rips the remainder off.
Because her body is healing itself. So the skin is already growing back, but she needs to get her jaw on. She needs to get her jaw to, she needs to reattach it so it'll grow. So she's got to rip off the skin that's already grown back, put the jaw on. See? To get it to work, and then the cliffhanger, which it's like hasn't been. This book keeps topping itself, and when you get to the cliffhanger, this god, Gnosis, he controls the element of Earth. Mm-hmm. So that's his thing, because each of the gods is a different element that she fights, and he becomes the mountain. And that cliffhanger is I'm like, all right, that's cliffhanger. And every issue of the Sword has an awesome cliffhanger, and they keep topping themselves.
I'm sorry. What's the protagonist's name again?
Dhara.
Yeah. So for folks who don't know, who've never read The Sword, Dhara is a young woman who has inherited this mystic weapon that gives her abilities that she doesn't know. She doesn't understand quite yet. She's figuring it out as she goes, but she has to fight off these 3 gods who are actually trying to get it back, get that sword back from her. That they created. And read the first 2 trades. It'll explain the whole mythology behind it. Mm-hmm. But again, Dhara is
a very good mythology.
Very good mythology, and Dhara is a very compelling character. And the Luna Brothers write this female protagonist and again, we're very well.
Getting back to the fact that I know Elliott was saying that violence against women, blah blah blah. This is a very violent comic. Yeah. It's a very mature comic, but it's all about context, and it's all how it's used. And some bad shit happens to her along the ways, but she...
Oh, no, some really bad stuff happens to her along the way.
But she throws out even more bad shit at the villains.
She gives as good as she gets.
Exactly, and that's what we're always talking about, which needs to be balanced to it.
Right. To me, it's just constantly portraying women as victims and not giving it any balance. That is what bothers me about that trend in comics. Next book.
And we're just going to hit this quick because somebody asked us to do it. Actually, I read it. It was Time Storm. It's the Marvel Universe 2099 crossover. It's going to be a 4-issue miniseries with the regular. I was never into 2099 books.
Except for Iron Man 2099, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I never read any of them.
Really? The Barry Windsor Smith stuff? That
Yeah.
stuff was awesome.
I didn't read any of it. Not a lot happened. It's one of the cops from the future, from the 2099 universe, who are all fashioned after the Punisher.
Right.
One of them gets sent back in time, and he gets Spider-Man, and he shoots him with like a little laser gun, and then he sends him to. So what this is basically setting up is that they're pulling heroes from the regular Marvel continuity and sending them into the future for some diabolical purpose. Because this guy who's running this Alkamax company has something going on, but they don't really let you into the plans at all of what's going on. If you were a fan of 2099, you might like this. Again, I have no frame of reference for this, and as far as like the modern superhero stuff, there wasn't enough of it in here. So it's the first issue. I can't really recommend it because, again, I don't know any of the mythos behind this. But it wasn't awful. I'll probably read the next one because it's only 4 issues. But I don't know. And then it's $3.99. It's a 4-issue miniseries, and then there's a bunch of back matter bullshit, which I'm not even going to get into again. That's all reprinted stuff. And then the last review is Superman: New World of Krypton #2. And this is going to be really quick. Nothing really happens in this issue. It's him getting situated on Krypton, him working with Zod. He's got new recruits Superman's got new recruits who he's training, so they kind of introduce those guys. And something happens where a bunch of Kryptonian like animals get loose and they're stampeding, and Zod's like, you need to go stop these things before they hurt or kill anybody, any means necessary. And the Kryptonians who Superman's leading are all like, let's just fucking kill him. And Superman's like, no, that's not what we do. It's not, there's always another way to do it. It might not be easier, but there's better solutions for it.
Really?
How about
really? You mean not using killing to solve your problems? Yeah. Interesting.
So that happens, and then at the very end, the labor class, the labor guild, who are pretty much glorified slaves, are rebelling.
You knew that was going to happen.
That was coming, so that's how it ends. And
especially when you've got like superpowers, you're not going to just sit there and be somebody's slave.
Right, but they made a point where Zod and his cronies and the military guild have created these new guns that can kill Kryptonians. So they're going to kill all these Kryptonians unless they're. The guild is holding people hostage. They want demands met, and Zod's like, "Fuck you! If you don't release them, we're just going to kill more of the labor guild with our guns." So it's kind of like a stalemate, and so we'll see what happens in the next issue. But it's continuing Superman's story. It's different. It's Superman in a new environment. It's interesting. There's some good character development here with Superman teaching some of these new recruit stuff. So it's good. All right. Pick it up if you haven't picked up the first 2 issues.
All right. That's that. When we come back, we'll have what you folks love, Last Rants.